Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the asteroid Eros in Gemini. Now, in a natal chart. Now, anyway, well, Eros in astrology can be connected with what one may have a very powerful sexual attraction to. Now, given that this is in Gemini, this could be a person that may have a very strong sexual attraction to somebody that is very versatile, very loquacious, able to handle his or herself in conversation and communication, somebody that is about intellectual and mental stimulation, a person very cerebral, somebody that's very vivacious, but yet very mercurial. As well. This could be a person that has a very unconquerable sexual attraction to someone that's very interesting, that's about variety, that has maybe a very youthful countenance, and that could be as far as the appearance, especially if, let's say, if somebody's Eros in Gemini is on that other person's Gemini ascendant. But anyway, person that could be very quick thinking, very quick witted, person that's not stagnant, has certain mobility, very mobile, and a person that's very joyful and amiable as well. Now, this could be a person that has a Gemini sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply one that embodies Gemini characteristics. So, now, if this is, say, if this is on, if you're looking at this as well, what I wanted to say is another thing about this is that Eros in astrology can be connected with creative energy and ability. Now, since we're talking about Gemini, this could be a person that might have very strong creativity in dexterity, whether it might be sculpting things, or it could be making vehicles or cars, or it could have to do with maybe, or it could be just the design of vehicles where this person exudes a lot of creative ability. Because cars, I mean, it's about mobility, transportation. It can be associated with Gemini. It could be a lot of creativity expressed through craftsmanship, or it could be through writing and communication. Um, it might be also through mental games. Let's say that this person has this in their fifth house in a natal chart. This could be a person that might express a lot of creative energy through the design of cerebral or mental, like board games that may challenge the mind, as an example. And really, also, too, it could be somebody that might, let's say this is in the ninth house in the natal chart. This could be a person that might have expressed certain creative energy through doing something that requires, some kind of game of wit and will. That would be in, again, the ninth house. I'd say the outdoors, because the ninth house in astrology can correspond with Sagittarius. Sagittarius can be connected with the outdoors. I had a friend of mine, interestingly enough, who had a Gemini moon and ascendant. He had we played like this game. I played this game with him, and it was something where I had to touch his back tire of his bicycle with my front tire, and I was never able to do it. So this is like kind of an example of like doing something, like that with that Gemini wit and will energy. That can be something that is outdoors, that is outdoorsy, and something where it's a game where it can be a little bit of a mental challenge as well. So that would be, as an example, I would use for somebody that would say have Eros in Gemini in the ninth house in their chart. Something that they could do outdoors where they feel that they can a game where it's about outmaneuvering somebody else. Now, Another thing I want to get at too is that Eros in astrology can be somewhat extreme as Astra, because it could indicate the kind of energy we may be infatuated and enamored with, but it could also at times be about what might be an exceptional turnoff to us, what we may be rebuffed by, or what we may simply repudiate or reject. Now, a lot of that, of course, could be predicated and dependent on other elements in your chart, in terms of if you have astrological energy that is compatible with your, as far as your Eros sign is. So now, in some cases, this could be a person that might be very turned off or rebuffed by overly loquacious qualities, garrulousness in somebody. It could be the superficial qualities, somebody that's not able to go, to really go deep into a connection. If this is somebody, I mean, let's say, for example, if this is somebody that has very strong dominant Scorpio energy in their chart, Scorpio energy, like say if someone has a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant, they might be somebody that might be really more desirous of having a very deep, non-superficial connection as far as who they can be connected with. But let's say, and if they have Eros in Gemini, that could be a conflict with them, because Gemini energy can be about being rather superficial and very light, and not going and not being overly provocative or deep. So anyway, it could also be a person that might be strongly turned off by very overly mercurial or vacillating qualities. It could be people that are overly excitable or even mischievous, or people that are simply just very hard to pin down and don't have very strong reliability. Now, another thing about Eros in astrology, it can be associated with what one may have a very powerful exuberance or enthusiasm for. Now, given that this is in Gemini, it may be done, this person may have a very strong exuberance and enthusiasm for speaking, for communicating, matters with writing. It could even be just simply having a variety, or let's say if this is in the sixth house, this person might have a very strong passion for simply multitasking at their place of employment. It could be matters with dexterity, whether it could be through auto or refrigeration mechanics, craftsmanship, doing even juggling, doing something that might be fun for them, that might require dexterity. And even in some isolated cases, it might even be vicariousness. This person might have certain enjoyment living through others' experiences. In some cases, it could be in matters with driving, going around to different neighborhoods, because Gemini energy, of course, could be very mobile. And you're talking about also, there could be a strong desire, very strong exuberance and enthusiasm, perhaps just for intellectual stimulation and mental games. I mean, let's say if this falls in the fifth house in one's natal chart, the fifth house can be connected with games. This could be a person that might be very enamored and infatuated with playing mental games like Lumosity or Haiku or chess, or even Pandemic, things that require really a lot of thinking and mental agility. Now, I want to go back, let's say, I mean, in Synastry, for example, let's say that somebody has their Eros in Gemini conjunct another's ascendant, sun, or moon sign. If you have Eros in Gemini conjunct another person's ascendant, you may be somebody that might have a very strong, really powerful physical. I mean, this really could accentuate a strong, powerful physical sexual attraction to somebody, even if there's other elements in your chart that indicate you're really not compatible with them. You may be you might feel very strongly drawn to the person's, their appearance strongly. I mean, such as appearing perhaps very youthful and lively and animated. very in Gemini rising can often be very slender, in person that really in a person might have very the elongated features. I mean, lengthy features is what Gemini could often have, the long arms and long legs, that kind of thing. That could be, and also the natural outer qualities that are expressed naturally outwardly, such as being vivacious, loquacious, quick thinking, just very quick-wittedness, that's how it may manifest if you have that aspect. If it's conjunct another person's Gemini moon, it may be more on an unconscious or subconscious level, or those qualities that the Gemini moon person may be exhibiting on an unconscious level. And if it's conjunct another person's sun in Gemini, there may be a physical connection to some degree, because the sun can still be connected with the physical body to some degree, even though the rising sign of sun, of course, is what dominates the appearance. And also it could be, being the sun, it would be perhaps the basic character of the person, just the basic personality of the individual. Now, also, too, some other examples as far as synastry goes. Let's say that you have, not synastry, I'm talking about aspects in your own natal chart. I'm sorry. Let's say, for example, you have Eros in Gemini. This is sextile or trine your natal Venus. This could be a person that not only may have certain exuberance and enthusiasm for Gemini related things, since what I described before, such as mental games and intellectual stimulation, or could even be like variety puzzle books. It could be, well, it could also be one where it could give added enjoyment, or you might actually be making, it might be good in terms of income, as far as doing something Gemini-like that you have that passion for, such as communication, or doing something with dexterity, such as auto or refrigeration mechanics. If this makes an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, as another example, this could, some of these things that you enjoy that's Gemini related may conflict with your career in some cases and responsibilities. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.